fuck is that?
No, I'll do that. You just stand behind there for a minute.
Different configurations. Some have got their canvas tilts up, some have got them down, some have mounted with machine guns. There's a very nice balloon. Followed by another lightweight Land Rover flying the Red Cross unit. Two more Land Rovers following that, one with a trailer. It's Army standard Army troop carrier and goods carrier. After that, a rather strange thing that looks like a sort of minibus. And there's top to it. That's another Canadian-built Ford this time, V8 engine. War in Italy and Northwest Europe.
So cool.
The riders always bumpy in those.
Following that is an American Dodge, the end of the flight line, and will be driving back from right to left in a few minutes. I'd like to take this opportunity to...
Irish registered.
I'm going to see if this has like a long play or something. Surely to God it will.
H 1009.
The car ran so badly apparently the 20 horsepower Rolls-Royce saloon outperformed it. The car...
I'm very, very glad it isn't raining. I have to say the most scary thing has been climbing the ladder to get up here.
You must do worse on the bill, surely, than that ladder.
No, actually, and I have to confess I have a stunt double.
Well, I never knew that, ladies and gentlemen. We hadn't planned that one. So, well, I don't blame you, because, I mean, this is one of Trevor's ladders, and the going down is often quicker, but less comfortable. You're signing autographs later today, are you?
Yeah, busy. In fact, I'm working tomorrow, but I believe that Graham Cole is here tomorrow playing the tennis stand, because he's not working, but I am.
Right, yes, we had Graham down here in the pouring rain in '95. Do you get recognised in the street and people think that you're real police, or do they see, I mean, you must be bizarre some occasions.
Nick?
And the next item on the agenda is a tornado. Special, there's a tornado just taking off. Machine, isn't it? It's unbelievable. Getting straight airport then. Anthony Parkinson. F3 tornado display in front. In the back seat, Dave Max, the navigator. Tornado, variable geography, all weather NATO combat aircraft. Designations, the ADV version, the air defence variant, extremely versatile aircraft. Fine long-range interception, air defence, all weathers, day and at night. Highly capable in combat, proven in the past, can engage multiple targets both at high and low levels. Coming past now, fast, the wind swept back to 67 degrees of sweep. Range of flight. Can land with a fully swept back. A little bit exciting, a little bit quick if you practice in your training. Power supplied by Rolls-Royce, the two turbo Union RB199 on 104. Really want that afterburning turbofan. 16,500 pounds of thrust from each of those engines with the afterburner in. They've been disbanded, reformed, more times than you shake a stick at. They did extreme FCs, 14 MCs, 5 DSOs and produced 2 notable aces, Albert Ball, James Win the wars, this one was disbanded back into operation. Kicked in, wings swept forward. Upgrades are in hand. double-slotted ailerons help in the rate of roll, which is impressive for a big aeroplane. This is a big aeroplane when you stay on the forward over the wings to assist the braking. And they are, big aeroplane, fast approach for a very commendably short landing run.
The dirt from the reverse thrusters. All the dirt.
And items of information as well. So, well, the L29 Delphin, the master display, the next item,
They are different aeroplanes, very different aeroplanes to do different jobs, and they both use the same V-stop principle. But I mean, if you want to buy the best V-stop,
but if you look ahead now, ladies and gentlemen, you'll see just entering his display, we've got the Gold Air Pit Special, flown by Will Curtis, the Managing Director of Gold Air International. They've got a great big hangar here at Biggin Hill, which you may have seen as you drove past. You saw this display yesterday during practice, and this is Will's first season as an air display pilot, and very commendable job he did too. Here we go, there's a flick roll at the top of the loop in a manoeuvre known as an avalanche. The Pit Special is very well known in aerobatic circles, but perhaps has had its day in terms of unlimited level competition aerobatics, really being superseded by the high performance monoplanes that are on the competition circuit these days, an example of which is the Extra 300, 5 of which will be flying later on today, a solo item by Brian Lacomba, and 4 of the aircraft of the Royal Jordanian Falcons display team. The Pips is a real vintage aircraft. The prototype first flew in 1944 as a 90 horsepower custom-built aerobatic single-seater. It evolved over the years. Perhaps it really made a great impact in 1972. That was when the American national team flying Pit Specials won the men's championships, and the Air Charter Company in the UK. And as well as their base here, they also operate out of Cambridge.
How does he boost dancing in H's 125?
Necessary close support, counterinsurgency, but the main role was training, capable of operating out a very rough, unprepared strip field, which is necessary from the Soviet Union, coming around in a lovely, graceful barrel roll. It's a good-looking aeroplane, a private-owned aeroplane. Two-seater, obviously. While it was used mainly by the Soviet speed, over 400 miles an hour. Bear in mind it's 40 years old, even the design. While this jet rate of roll. In the way of armament, the provision was for gun sights, gun cameras, a couple of bombs. 100 kilo bombs, 8 air-to-surface rockets, strap a couple of machine gun pods to the wing. Well, we go now from of the Sea Harrier. Sitting next to me is one. I brought the grey one up last night. Mason's team did a fantastic job over 4 hours to get it here. We arrived about 6:45, so really glad to see that here. But Dave, as you say, is in the T8 today. We have 4 of these aircraft on 899 Naval Air Squadron based at Royal Naval Air Station Yeovilton in Somerset. And Dave is one of the 4 QFIs that we have on the squadron.
Training down at Yeovilton, it's the main training base of Naval Fixed Wing.
That's right. Yeah. We train about 9 pilots a year to go up to the 2 frontline squadrons based on the aircraft carriers Invincible and Illustrious at the moment with our Royal in refit. So we have 2 squadrons in at any one time available for operations all over the world.
And just before, well, here goes the Pegasus engine winding up the car. Which Pegasus engine? This is the 103, 21.5 pounds. Same then as the one strapped in the GR7.
Yes, very similar and same Sea Harrier, only slightly.
Well, I mean, if you look at that profile, plan view as you go up, you'll see very different wing sections, very different shapes of the GR7. The GR7 comes back, so try and remember this image. Sea Harrier has the daisy wheels on the wingtips, GR7 halfway down the wing, much bigger wing on the GR7, 2 different animals all together, but very different jobs. Very different jobs. Primary role for the Royal Navy Sea Harrier, and you can see the Sea Harrier training with the GR7 later on today, is as a fleet in the United States Navy. But then half of our pilots send them to the Royal Air Force in this machine. I think we feel a lot more comfortable now that we have the new missile. The radar is a good heavy radar out there.
Standing here watching. Marks out of 10 jobs for it. 10.5. Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Ritchie, the Sea Harrier display pilot for 1999.
Wonderful. Lieutenant Russ Eagle, thank you very much for coming along and helping us out. Nice to have an instructor who is valid on the aircraft. And I'm told that the pilot of the F3 is at the RAF Korea.
over the last few months, this aircraft has flown about 15 minutes. Including the United Nations and Oxfam, came into the FL on Friday, direct from its base in the Ukraine. Aircraft, as I say, open to the public. Go and have a look through. I think they might have a bucket for contributions just by the door. Classic crew class aircraft. Standing altitude capability. Very, very much a cost-effective aircraft. Cameras came in various different guises to photo a takeoff to hold before coming back. The mad flurry of fingers to my right is mention of the Breitling fighters. Taking off to hold. This fighter will be lurking around somewhere. Need to watch this over the last another minute on my Breitling one. So that is. The same on my ugly button. There we go. So we've got the Cubans getting rolling now. We've got the B-51 Mustang leading the Corsair, and the two that took off before were the Kitty Hawk and the ME-109. And they're on. And the car alarm that's going off on the car next to the commentating position, if the person responsible for that could go, oh, it's Pete's car. Huh. All right, there we go. It's embarrassing. 2 slots, and here they are, arriving in the circuit now. 19 in Southeast Asia markings, and the two of them flying into the centre for some opposition.
That's the Southeast Asia. You can hear the difference. Engine, that's in there. I reckon we're here in a minute. You see the difference?
The Mark 19.
Off again.
She was actually flown to Biggin and then staying here tomorrow before flying back to Waddington. A visit on another opportunity. Now to the right you can see the Breitling fighters coming in a box. Combats from some of aviation's best known aircraft. Most of these fighters were equipped with Breitling cockpit clocks. So as a reminder of the close links it's always cultivated with aviation professionals, Breitling has created a Breitling fighters team.
So been in existence a long time.
New Zealand Air Force Corsair in number 4 position. He's skilling braking now in the Corsair, so the formation will continue in this formation while the the Corsair will fly some solo aerobatics and opposition manoeuvres to the main formation. Keith in the Corsair is an ex-New Zealand Air Force pilot. We're last of 425 that were used by the Royal New Zealand Air Force during the war. In from the left now, the trio in line astern. Barrel roll there, Kitty Hawk, Messerschmitt, Mustang. So he's obviously very proud to fly that. All the aircraft, you may have noticed, have got yellow. Unmistakable cranked wing. The most powerful naval fighter ever built. The Kitty Hawk was the first mass-produced American single-seat fighter. Together with the Bell P-39, made up more than half the US Army Air Force fighter strength for the first half of the war, in addition to being supplied in numbers to the RAF and other allied forces. 1495, very good value.
What controller is actually controlling the show?
Landing strip. So here we are. It looks like a race down the runway, but the aircraft will get airborne shortly. Flown by Dave Evans, and what he's going to do is to perform some aerobatics, and then he's going to attempt to land the aircraft on top of the trailer, which is being driven by Mike Dentiff. So this is the first time that this display has been put on in front of the public. You may have seen some photographs about it in the press in the last few days, and perhaps just to what we have got lined up is an interview which Stratton did with Dave during press day here a couple of days ago. So we'll hear Dave talk in his own voice about what it's all about.
Sorry about that, Pete. You know, finger trouble down my end, but actually I can't even blame Trevor for it.
That's the idea.
Well, let's explain a little bit about the name of Red Zebra. It's actually the new used car program from Mitsubishi Motors. So Mitsubishi, which is towing the trailer, and now coming in to attempt to land on the trailer from the left. Craft and car have to match their speeds exactly. The wind conditions are particularly critical. Now there's Dave almost sneaking up. I suppose we should really have an ex-Royal Navy pilot, because it must be very similar to trying to land on an air.
We'll be trying to land the aircraft back on the trailer. That's got to be exciting, surely. Yes, it's quite a challenge. Bearing in mind there's only 4 inches clearance either side of the wheels. It's an 8-foot wide trailer, and to actually get the aircraft in the centre of the trailer with all the prevailing weather conditions is quite difficult. You talk about prevailing weather conditions. Crosswinds, I suppose, is one of the main hazards you've got, because you can't...
Side slipping it to wash off some speed. There he is. Now Mike's got to get the hammer down on the Shogun, because the aircraft has overtaken him. Can Mike... No, I think he's actually calling that one off.
He didn't get going soon enough.
Calling that one off because the speed was actually a little bit... I take that all back. He is trying to put it on. Good heavens, even downwind. I suppose the winds are fairly light, so perhaps that is to his advantage. The company, the name became known as Red Zebra, and that name emerged as a distinctive and strong brand title, so it's been adopted by the aerobatic team. Now, we're running out of time, so I think this could well be Dave's last attempt. Is he actually going to make it? He looks like he's well positioned. Sneaking up on the trailer. Mike Dentiff is at 70 miles an hour now, and he's probably thinking, will he get on soon before he actually has to start slowing down so he can turn down? Yeah, it looks as if the wheels have actually touched on the trailer, but he hasn't actually locked in. Still trying, still trying. I think he's going to have to call that one off as well. I'm sure they touched again there. Very difficult to see from where we are here, but perhaps those down at the well positioned. Now, if you could see those wheels touch the trailer, let's have a big cheer. Very difficult from this angle to see. I don't think we'll be cheering on that run. Well, we said this is the first public display
Jumping and tracking away from the main group. So any moment now, they'll be leaving the aircraft. And there they go, ladies and gentlemen. They've actually left the aircraft now. And they're in free fall. The main body is like that. And there they go. They're all under canopy. Now what we're looking for now are two people that have got white smoke. We've got Flight Sergeant Chris Headley. And he's and then you look halfway up the stack, the other person with the white smoke is Sergeant Clark Coggill, and he's from Elgin in Morayshire in Scotland, and he's leading the top 6 of the pack. Appreciate, ladies and gentlemen, that down here we have very little wind, but up there the wind is blowing at something like 30 knots. So it's quite difficult actually to get into the stack. Once the stack is formed, then everything is okay, but just to get into that stack. Now, Falcons, how do you become a Falcon? They all start as physical training instructors. They join the Royal Air Force into the physical education branch. After 5 years, they will then go on and to become parachute jump instructors. After 5 years in this role, they can be selected, once they've attained the rank of a sergeant, to join the world famous Falcons parachute display team. And they then spend 3 years on the team before returning to more advanced duties with the Royal Air Force. Now Chris Headley, as you see, Flight Sergeant Chris Headley, bringing them round to all get a nice safe landing in the arena. There are 2 crosses in the arena, an orange and a yellow one. The reason for this is we break them up, 6 landing on one, 6 on another, because if they all try to land on one, they'll have a bit of a pile-up. So let's put it all together for them, ladies and gentlemen, this afternoon. The Royal Air Force Falcons of 1999. Watch yourself. And the last man down, Mo Khan. Mo Khan is only 5'3" tall. He's a stone lighter than everybody else, so he has to wear a stone of lead to keep himself down with the rest of everybody else. So we're looking for the aircraft now. Here it comes. If you're looking at the airfield itself, the runway, it's coming in from your left. So this is a salute to everybody here this afternoon, and of course for the team for its accomplishments. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together this afternoon for the Royal Air Force Falcons 1999.
Thank you very much to Graham Liggins as well for that excellent description of what was going on with the Falcons. Superb display. It was good that they were able to jump straight to the outside flick. It's quite difficult to judge accurately as it was a half roll and a full outside flick. A little bit over rotated, which he will be cursing himself for. Now positioning by pulling over the top and back again onto the main axis. Watch out again now as he comes down to the southern part of the airfield. Rolls inverted for a -4G push into a very spectacular knife edge flick. As before, full left rudder, full power, and the stick fully in the left ankle. Gyroscopics take over and it tumbles end over end. Up speed and energy for a vertical figure at the end, this time a 4-point roll, demonstrating the precise nature and very accurate ailerons on this aircraft. Brian has another opportunity, quickly check altimeter. It's about the only instruments that you can see during a busy sequence like this is just speed and height. The double downward flick
positions him for another compound figure climbing 4-point roll, followed by a cascade. The positive flicks, about 5 altogether, there's 3, 4, finishes at 4, make sure that his pull through is safely high, gives him the opportunity to fly down to his base height for a spectacular central figure. And this is a triple outside snap. See if you can manage to get all 3. There's 1, 2, just enough to complete the 3, and push over the top.
Oh.
Now he's beginning to get quite tired. As you can imagine, the forces here typically are plus 8G and minus 5G during the sequence. So this gives him an opportunity for a breather with a relatively simple 8-point roll. Still have to be careful and fly it accurately, as he's now getting down to his base height. And he does 2 more vertical figures as he brings the aircraft back for a closer look as he flies knife edge to demonstrate the micro-release 300L power speed. Signature howl as the props are near supersonic, full power and full fine pitch.
Get to the left-hand side of the runway and the power goes on.
I got wind this time.
Yeah. Hello, Joe.
Well, the Sukhoi 30 is a 2-seater, so those were definitely single-seaters, so it must be a brace of Sukhoi 27s. An aircraft pretty similar in appearance, I guess, to the McDonnell Douglas F-15 Eagle, and it was really designed at the time that the Americans were designing the F-15. So in the mid-70s, the Sukhoi Bureau was given responsibility for the design and development of such an aircraft, and it was first flown in May 1977. Of having the flame extinguished as the air goes rushing up the jet pipe. The jet pipe's designed to have the air being pushed out of it at a rate of knots, not going into it. There we go, then hammerheading down. What a great sight that was. One of the trademarks of the Sukhoi display, the tail slide. The other one, of course, being the Cobra. And if you haven't seen that before, let's hope that we'll see that this weekend, because it really is a treat. Anatoly Kvorchuk, the team leader and the solo pilot who will be displaying this afternoon, very experienced. He first demonstrated the MiG-29 high-speed pass now from the right, one aircraft rolling upside down for a mirror image flying pass. One of the things you note about a well, it looked like it. Maintaining perfect station. Aircraft has a maximum speed of Mach 2.3, that's 1,550 miles an hour. Service ceiling of 59,000 feet and a combat radius of 930 miles.
Doesn't go as high as Concorde.
Now, an opportunity for those at the extreme ends of the runway. Looks like we're getting another tail slide. Almost coming to a complete stop, then back down. Yes, there's one on the left hanging motionless almost at the top. Both aircraft actually at very low level from the left, and whoa, that was a low pass, wasn't it? Right so low that the people in the water just went under. Of course he was some way off them, but it was just the impression of this huge eagle-like aircraft looming in on them. So watch as the one comes in now to land, actually with two aircraft, so maybe four. Oh, look at that, that nose wheel being held off almost half the length of the runway.
You didn't use any reverse?
Well, I hope that we're able to see a photograph of that fly path in next year's programme. Any people with who are able to get that photo, that must be a great one, with the one on the ground with the air brake up and the other flanker airborne, pulling up hard. So let's hope that that'll be a classic we'll see on next year's cover.
Very good. Yeah.
Well, a gap in the process is coming down 2-1, says air traffic, so I was looking and believing them, but going up 0-3 is a Dash Air 707. Who believe them all, peering to the right. Very, very successful Boeing. Well, most miles per hour, which is well up with any other of the modern airliners coming past now. Four Pratt & Whitney JT3Ds with F7 turbofans, each producing for £19,000 plus. British version, I guess, of the 707, this being the Nimrod. Long-range maritime reconnaissance aircraft for Strike Command. Nimrod designed to replace the aging Shackleton aircraft. Design started in June 1964. Had a shorter, modified pressurised fuselage than the Comet itself, but still retaining those very graceful and classic lines. It's got a massive weapons bay, and I'm sure one of the passes we're seeing 52 feet in length, the weapons bay, in NATO operations. See the in-flight refueling probe, that big scaffolding hole is on the front of the bonnet. Big search. Show. Rated at over 12,000. This group was set up by Anatoly Kotchoy, hero of Russia, former hero of the Soviet Union in 1992. The aim of demonstrating professionally the solo and dual displays of the Su-27 and the Su-30, and also the Su-37. Well, the Su-37 has only been so far seen at Farnborough International. This is the 27. Now watch him as he comes up for another one of those distinguishing marks, the tail slide of the Sukhoi. At sea level, 835 miles an hour. It's a big aeroplane that is belting around in the weeds at that sort of speed. Service ceiling over 59,000 feet. Strong Operational G limits plus 9G. Minimum turn radius between 230 and 250 metres. This agility can be capable by the fly-by-wire systems. Takeoff time is about 8 seconds. We saw the takeoff run, 300. Those are the high-end speeds. Steady airspeed of 90 knots can be obtained. Sukhoi using the fly-by-wire, did it very safely in the air, just sitting on power. We may see a slow speed, high alpha pass. Is by 4-channel analog fly-by-wire, no mechanical backup. The type itself is inherently unstable, that's why you need the smartly rolling inverted. All moving tailor rods operated in roll control. We saw, and you'll see later on, that large door type air brake. The top section is large, you'll see that when he comes into land. Massive great air brake. Angle of attack normally limited to 30 to 35 degrees. However, the angle of attack limiter can be overridden manually. And we might see that actually come into play today. I don't know, and if we do, it'll be through the manoeuvre called the Cobra. Them all here. They go the 27s, they go all the way up through the 30s, the 37s, various variants from that. Here, coming past the high alpha, high angle of attack, low speed pass. Power to weight ratio, they're using about 1.125 here. 90 knots. If you watch carefully at the back end, you'll see them twitching away, just keeping the aircraft just above the stall, a couple of knots above the stall. The time to height records set up by the Sukhoi and other tail slide coming up here.
You still haven't got any idea? I said no.
I remember talking to Bland Smith, development test pilot of the F-16 at Farnborough International when he'd watched the Sukhoi when we first had them, and he was saying that this is one hell of an impressive aeroplane. This, matching an F-16, he said, would be a very interesting. Of Anatoly Kotchoy.
Yeah, that was low, wasn't it?
Wonderful. Charming chap. Very, very rarely will you see a drink in his hand. When he comes to dinner with us at Farnborough, he will just sip the very top of the wine and nothing else.
He's got air gel.
Will I have to give up the beer to be able to fly like that?
The lady said they're not.
Nah, the Guinness is alright. There's some colleagues of mine from British Airways in front nodding. Reminds me of a nodding donkey. There you have the big dive brake, the big speed brake deployed. I think the reason we didn't get the Cobra is the lack of altitude that we have here above Biggin, because it's a high altitude manoeuvre. Well, when I say high altitude, normally done at about 2,000, 2,400 feet. Anatoly Kochoy, hero of Russia, one of the finest test pilots that we have on the circuit today. Trevor's just asked me if he's an official hero of Russia. Yes, he was awarded both the hero of the Soviet Union, and then when it became Russia, he was re-awarded the hero of Russia. It is actually a gong that one wears, and there are not many of them around. To the parish. There's 10 other aircraft. The other one would be Russ Jones, the commentator, red 10. Oh, giving it away, red 10. Fast run now, relatively speaking, only limited to 250 knots, below 10,000 feet in controlled airspace, or uncontrolled airspace in the United Kingdom, is the DC-10. Also expecting a Jaguar to come in. Haven't heard the Jaguar on frequency. Look at the, well, it's a bit late now, I was going to say look at the daisy wheels on the GR7, you'll see them mid-wing compared to the Sea Harrier.
Spoke on. Right hander. Two.
There's enough of them, bro.
One. Braking now. Two. Three. 4. 5. 8. 9. Stand by for the wind. It will be sweet out foot switch. 9. 6. 5.
What's he been eating? Red 6, only 20 past 4.
One of the early years with this top aircraft.
Are we not in there?
Now, if you saw any other helicopter doing this, you would know that the student pilot had completely lost it. Well, you'll see that Dennis stops rotation exactly on point every time, utter control. Pedal turning all the way down the runway, keeping one direction but turning. Dennis, ex-Royal Air Force pilot, flew Meteors, Canberras, Lincoln, Varsities, Tiger Moths, Chipmunks. Dennis has asked me at this point to says that he does one-to-one flying training, if you're interested, down at Shoreham. They shouldn't do it, but he does, and extremely well. Cycling pedal wing over into descent, fast run along the crowd line. Flat 360-degree pedal turns, drifting downwind. Descending now to do what's called yumping. Alternate skid contact with the ground when he comes back down from this particular manoeuvre from another pedal turn. 420 shaft horsepower Allison engine. That was such a trademark and a signature of His Majesty, and it has been continued by the grace of the new king, King Abdullah bin Hussein, King Abdullah, son of Hussein of Jordan, to continue on his father's work. Plus and minus 10 times the force of gravity. Well, they won't be doing that in formation. When we get a few solo items, then you'll be able to see some of the crisp aerobatics, but look at that tight formation. And they will just stay locked like that. It's a joy always to watch. Being the ME-109 just landed on the runway there. You can get an autographed copy of the new book, Spitfire. And with the Hunter safe, and then a 4-ship. And you can see very close succession. Once airborne, the 2-ship will join up with the 3-ship. And then Box 4 joins